Hi there, I'm Samantha and I'm with Culpeper County Parks and Recreation. We're glad you joined us today for another installation of Crafty Creations. And sticking with our Halloween theme, we are going to do a quick tutorial on how to do a simple yarn tassel. Very easy, certainly something that you can use for just about anything. Making garlands for birthday parties, adornments for gifts, you know, seasonal sorts of things. So what we have for you today is our ghosts, which what I tend to do when I make these is it's fun for the whole family, because if you have enough of your supplies, you can actually get kind of a little assembly line going, and then you can make plenty of these, or you can just kind of make them as you go, and then once you've accumulated enough of them, then you can put them together on ribbon, twine, the same yarn you use to make, any of those options. So ghosts, again, black and white. So for a white tassel, what you would need is plenty of yarn, and you want some scissors handy, and some glue for some felt eyes. And then really to make the shape, I'm just using this box. If you have a flat piece of cardboard, you want something that is approximately 5 by 7 that will make this size. And in terms of how much yarn, this is something that you're probably going to have to experiment with the first one. You want to make sure you use plenty, because you want a nice plush, thick yarn. And the more yarn you have, the more forgiving it is when you try to take and fluff it out so that it's, you know, it has a nice round ball on the top. But let's get started. So what I will do is, I'm going to make my scissors handy. You're going to take this, and then you're just going to start wrapping it vertically. And so just hold that there. And it's very important. So what I'm going to do is just drop this, because I want to make sure I have plenty of yarn waiting, because once I start rolling, I don't want to stop. And then a very important tip to remember is that you want to make sure you wrap it loosely. If you wrap it too tight, what you have to do to have the hook here is that you have to insert a piece of string, and you have to weave it in there. So of course, if you have a piece of corrugated cardboard, it probably would be easier. But since I have this box and it has some depth to it, I don't want to wrap it tightly, otherwise it'll be hard to do. So just keep that in mind. All right. All right, and you just wrap. And again, I say, you know, in terms of how much, 70 to 100 times. You really want some depth to it. Try to keep track of my ball here. And you just keep wrapping, wrapping, wrapping. You don't have to be too fastidious about this, just keep wrapping. You want to keep most of it centered, but if you have a few that go out this way, that's certainly fine. All right, I'm going to keep on going here. All right, so that's almost there. It's almost kind of like when you're seasoning food. You know, you have to taste it a few times and say, okay, yeah, that's what I want. So take your scissors, and you can just trim there, and then take a little more and cut yourself maybe another 2 strips, anywhere between 7 to 12 inches. And then, let's see, take and put this back like so. Take the one, go ahead and thread it through. Here, I start in the middle just because I think you have a little more give. Here we go. Some people actually use a threading needle, but I don't think that's necessary. Pull it up like this. Just kind of work it so that it's here. Make sure that you pull up your two little sides there somewhat even. And then I'm not going to cut that just yet, or I'm sorry, tie that just yet, but what I will do is go ahead and pop this off. And then tie. You're done with your form or your box, so go ahead and give that a nice tight knot. Okay, and pick up your ball of yarn here and do your best. I mean, you may have missed some here and you may have some stragglers, but go ahead and pull this out. Where you've tied it, you want to cut on the opposite end. Having some nice sharp scissors, I think, really does well. Okay. All right. And then you can see where you have, let me move this out of the way here. You can see where you have your two hanging strips. And then this is just a matter pulling it down like this. So you can see by how many times I actually wrapped that. This is exactly, I'm very happy with this, what you're looking for. So before you do anything else, you want to form the head, and that's where your other string piece comes in handy. So just take, and then once you're happy with getting that all together, take this. You can lay that like so, and when you're making a group of these, you know, it's kind of nice to have them somewhat uniform in length and in terms of the head, but obviously sometimes they're just slightly irregular, and that's okay. So you want a very good knot there. Now you can let this hang. You don't really need to trim it. And then this is where you just need to even out. You know, pull out any loose strands, take your sharp scissors and even things out like so. And for the most part, you are done. You can make sure there's a little loose guy right there, but the more of these you make, the better they will become. And last but not least, if you want eyes, I use black felt, just a sheet of black felt like so. And it's not ideal, but I like to use a hole punch so that they're perfectly round. You could cut them. You could use Google Eyes or anything you would like. Take some strong glue. Turbo Tacky Glue, Aleene's, I think is really the best. This does, in fact, adhere nicely and it dries quickly. So put some glue there. An eye there. And then we'll get another eye here. I have just a little bit of the wool there that you could probably trim if you wanted to, just to make it look better, or you could leave it. And this is pretty much it. You have a basic tassel. I think, as always, it's kind of nice to have these basic ideas of how to do things like make a yarn tassel, because you can have a lot of fun with it. And like I said, get an assembly line going if you want to complete it in, an afternoon or a day. Once you have all that you'd like to do, it's just a matter of stringing them on your string of choice. Like I said before, you would tie and then trim. So there you have it, your White Ghost tassel. And that's it for this tutorial. Please stay in touch with us at parks@culpepercounty.gov. Give us a call, find us on Facebook, and let us know what you think. And we'll see you next time. So stay crafty.